Welcome to the Action Playbook. I'm Jason Fox.
And I'm Coach Robin.
And we're helping leaders take action in life and business. Do we have a name for this one, Robin? Do we know what we're talking about, or we'll name it afterwards?
I think this is leadership and culture, eh?
The Black Panther way.
Black Panther. Project Panther.
Okay, well, welcome to episode 27 of the Action Playbook. We're here with the Black Panther, or Project Panther, Chris Prince from Hiko Electrical.
Thank you.
It's our first guest. We're going to start introducing some people that we've worked with and or people that we think can bring you value on this podcast. So, Robin, why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, so great to have you on the potty with us, Chris. I met Chris, like 3 years ago now.
Was it before COVID? Was it BC?
I joined our BNI during COVID, our first lockdown.
Geez, yeah, so 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's incredible. And we've been working together now for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And the transformation that I've seen in Chris's business has been absolutely phenomenal. But I think one of the things for me that stands out working with Chris is he just has such a natural leadership ability. A lot of people have to learn leadership, but instinctively you are so good at this. So today I really want to focus on leadership and culture in particular, because here's an electrician building an electrical business that is doing things very differently to what everyone else is doing. So a bit of out of the box thinking, and for myself, leadership and culture are two of my big passions in business. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today, Chris, and welcome.
Wicked. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Jason, Robin, for having me on.
Awesome.
Pleasure's all ours, mate. As soon as you show up in Crocs, I know there's something different about this guy.
I know, but I've lost all my, and this is what I said to you last time, the kids just take
your gibbets. So I should have known. I should have brought some in.
I should have had a fun pack.
Yeah. I'll get some to you, mate. We'll get some to you. We'll get you looking good, looking right for summer.
Thank you.
So, Chris, let's start off with who is Chris Prince. Let our listeners and viewers know who you are and your backstory.
Yeah, so I saw the questions that came through, and this one is who am I? I am who I am. I'm a boy born up in South London. South London's obviously a different place to what we experience in New Zealand. It's highly populated. It's a lot more cutthroat. But it is what it is. It's a great place. You learn to be quite hard and quite tough over there. You have to grow up pretty quick. From getting to school to the competitions that you face, I think it's highly competitive, and it's make or break for a lot of people. But I loved it. I thrived in it. I didn't want to bring up kids there, so that's why I ended up in New Zealand. But yeah, that's pretty much who I am. I'm a Londoner. I'm a hustler and bustler. I'm a peaky blinder. I'm a top boy. We are an amalgamation. It's awesome growing up in a big city, because you meet people from so many different backgrounds. You come across so much. You have access to so much. You see Ferraris and you see people pushing around 3-wheeler mini miners or whatever those things were called. Like there's still some
Mr. Bean cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you do see that from road to road. So it's that's where I'm from.
Did you grow up sort of high density living with the population there? Was it sort of apartment?
No, we
living,
actually grew up in a small place called Carshalton, which is what I would say edge of London. It's inside the M25, so it's not high density. Having said that, there were parts that were 10 minutes walk away that was high density living.
Sure.
The sort of the places that you do see on the Top Boy, where the kids are just hanging around doing nothing. You go, you don't walk through there. It was a real mix.
Because what's population of London currently sit roughly?
I don't know. They reckon about 13 million.
Yeah, okay.
But how do they quantify that?
Yeah.
It's about 40 times the size of New Zealand.
At least.
Robin's math has never been a strong point.
Hey, that's why he's not an accountant, mate. It's fine.
That's why I can make your financials look real good as a coach.
Yeah.
With that kind of multiplication.
So, between London and New Zealand, there's a big gap. Fill the gap.
So I started my my working life as a lifeguard, because as a 15-year-old, I was right, what's the highest paying job I can get as a 16-year-old? And that was a lifeguard. Oh. So, I suppose that's always been my mentality is, okay, what's the best that I can do, or what's the most return I can get? So I qualified as a lifeguard. That was at a leisure centre. That kind of led down a path of health and fitness. I got trained up to be a personal trainer. That, whilst it was really good, there was a lot of friction there for me personally. You know, you guys are coaches. You know, there can be a lot of frustration in coaching people, because ultimately it's on that person, and you can give so much to them, and you go, you know.
Yep, lead the horse to water but can't make it drink.
Oh, yeah, so it was quite frustrating. I picked up my passion for travelling at that point. I was working with kids day in, day out at the leisure centre, really enjoyed that. Ended up going to Camp America, doing that for a couple of years. That was a phenomenal experience, going somewhere where you're not known. You know, the world's your oyster. You truly are by yourself. You can't call on mum and dad or even your friends, so you just get on with it. And America's a great safe place to do that, right? Because they all speak your language. Mm. Yeah, they've got guns and stuff everywhere, but American people are awesome.
They're actually nice, eh? They actually encourage you, the complete opposite to us Kiwis.
Yeah, they're the best people, man. And they just invite you in.
Yeah.
And they invite you in. So I did that. So that started off in the health and fitness sort of area, side by side with that, because I got the travel bug during that time. I was like, right, okay, again, how can I double up my money? Got into hospitality because I could work pubs and clubs on Friday and Saturday, got into that. Really enjoyed that. That's super social. It was, the way I used to look at it, it was like a night out, but you were getting paid for it and you weren't hungover. And I made good money doing that as well at the same time. Just naturally progressed up through the ranks at that level. Sort of had a plan in my head, all right, I want to get to a general manager stage so I can potentially open up my own bar at some point as like a retirement plan on some random beach somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So got quite far with hospo, just backpacked all through my 20s, working a hospo, coming back, that sort of feel. Then I was in Australia actually, working in the mines, and I met an electrician who was on double what I was on, and I was on good money. And I wanted to go back to Australia, looked at the skilled workers list, okay, electrician was on there. Sweet, all right, let's go home, let's do an apprenticeship and become an electrician. Yeah. So, it's kind of happened naturally, I suppose. I haven't planned what I've been doing, but I don't know, I see something, I think, that's kind of what I want to do, and then I go for it. And then that's also kind of what happened when we moved down here. My partner, she's from Kaipara up north, so we were living in Warkworth, and we moved down here to Tauranga, and that's one of the questions that's going to come up later, but I just wanted a bit more control and freedom over my life. So I was like, right, that's what I want. How do I do that? Okay, well, I've got to go work by myself or work for myself. And that's kind of what happened. And I suppose those random targets that have floated into my life that I've set my eyes on so
very similar to my story, completely different to my story, but just chopped and changed between certain roles and fell into things, and you can see why your leadership skills, like Robin touched on, are quite high when you've done the personal training, you've done the hospitality where you're dealing with drunk people, boys, girls, you name it.
It's such a good environment to learn in.
Everything you've kind of done throughout your career has led you to managing people of some sort. Yeah. Emotion, all the rest of it. So,
well, drunk people are the same as 18-year-olds who turn up on Monday. Oh. They still might be a little bit drunk.
I think for me, like, one of the big things I learned, because I was also in hospo, and one of the things I learned doing that was because when I was in hospo, it was all tips, right? You didn't get paid. You got paid whatever tips you made.
You must have been hungry.
So those were some of the best 3 days of my life. The one thing that I learned in hospo is how to make people feel happy, how to make people feel, that service that you need to give in order to get return, because the happier they are, the happier, or the better the tips are that you get.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a big step for me in my journey, was that, treat people how they want to be treated, and then you get the return. Same for you?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think I learned that from probably first during personal training and being a 19-year-old dealing with, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. Just, again, all right, how do I connect with this person? Because what I'm worried about is completely different to what they're worried about. Definitely made some faux pas and said things I probably shouldn't have said. I used to describe some anatomy in a very immature way. I won't go into...
Got a few slaps to do? Or?
No, not that bad, but I look back now and I think, Jesus, did I say that? Like, what were they thinking when I said that? But I think I'm a positive person, so they just kind of run. I'd run with it. I meant no offense when I said it. So, it was all about connecting with people to inspire them to turn up. Because you know what it's like, people come in full noise, like, yep, I'm going to train every day and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be ripped in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Still working on that one.
Yeah, hey, we all are. Like, come in 3 times a week, and it's going to take 6 months. So, yeah, connecting with people, and just also being super positive, because they have to come back. Because it does. Because when that initial set in of, oh man, this is actually going to be quite hard. What actually carries you through is it's tenacity, and I think prior to that, it's positivity. Like, you need to be positive. Okay, it might not always work, but we've got a plan and we're going to commit to it, and eventually it's gonna pay off.
Yeah, motivation's fleeting, right? We all the
Yeah.
first week or two in the gym, we're all motivated as all
Yep.
heck, but it's discipline from thereafter.
Yeah,
And that's the beauty of having a trainer, is they carry you along on that journey.
Yep.
They keep you motivated or disciplined throughout the process. Probably much like having a coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a plug now for.
What a segue.
I've got to come up with a jingle. At this moment, just press the button.
Exactly, it'd be straight into it.
Yeah.
Got some buttons.
So just circling back, so then you said you started Hiko because you wanted more control, control of your time or control of your money.
Yeah.
So you were working for someone before that?
Yeah, so I was working up in Auckland. So actually when I came down to Tauranga, that was a clean break, and it was an opportunity to, at the time, what I thought, do things better. I was looking at what we were doing at the old company, always just looking at how everyone's doing things and going, I can do this better. Like, I'm sure this can be done better, especially from the hospo background of, okay, let's be customer focused and focus on their experience. There's so many easy ways of making it a much better experience. The perception of traders is they don't turn up, they don't communicate. I was like, well, those are 2 things that I can do straight away. Especially as a new business, hey, I can turn up because guess what? I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
I really want your business, so I'm going to turn up and I'm going to communicate. So that was that was a big reason why I went out by myself, and also just wanting to have the control and freedom to play golf and fish and do all the things that we talk about doing that we don't do anymore. But I really took advantage. I really took advantage for those first 2 years.
It's easier when it's just yourself, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's not as fun.
If I can work 4 days a week and then have a day off for golf, but
Yeah.
less overheads, all the rest.
So Chris, when it comes to the why, right? I mean, I get it. I think a lot of our readers, listeners and viewers are going to get it too. You start a business because you want to be in control of your time. You want to be in control. You want to be in control of who you work for, you know, what clients you take on, right? Yeah. And then that disappears really quickly, right? That goes out the window. As soon as you sign up your first client, that's it, right?
Yep. Weekends are on. Don't worry, I'll do it Sunday night.
60-hour weeks. Yeah, exactly. But was there another why for you? Like, so I guess the question is, did you always know you were going to have your own business one day, or is it just something that evolved into having your own business? So
I have a really good friend that I grew up with, and he started his own business when he was 21, 22. And I looked at what it did to him over, like, throughout our 20s, because I used to backpack. I'd go away to these places, go to South America, come back, and he'd have a little less hair. And he was just working like a dog, enjoying it, but what he would talk about, what I would talk about, were very different, and I could just tell that's the trade-off. he is very successful, but there is a trade-off there, and I wasn't ready to commit to that at that time. So to go back to the why, it's simple. Like, I like winning, and I suppose these different targets that come along. Winning to me, it's success. So with the business, I could see it could be really successful. And I wanted to win. I was like, no, I can do this way better than the other people. So I suppose I'm just inherently competitive as well. And I go, no, I want to beat that person, or I want to do this better than the industry standard. You want to change the way it's done, or be a bit of a trailblazer, have a bit of a reputation or aura. You want to just be a winner, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a strange one. Like, why did I start Hiko? Yeah, because I want to win. Want to be successful. Want to beat other people.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
And winning breeds winning, right? It's a winning culture.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said it, Robin, once, that business is the ultimate game that anyone can play. I suppose that's how I see it. Is it is a game, and
stacking those little wins daily.
Yeah.
1% better, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just for context for the people listening or watching, so how long you been in business, and how many in your team now?
So the business was started in 2017.
Yep.
And there's 14 of us now.
Yeah. So you've been stacking 2 or 3 staff every year since you started?
Oh, no, the first 2 years were pretty fun. There was a lot of golf and fishing and other stuff. It wasn't until COVID, actually, that so my brother was here at the time. He was backpacking, and he called me and he's like, oh, what are we going to do? We've got to go into lockdown. I was like, bro, you can just come live with us. It's all good. We had one boy at the time, Paxton. He was 1 and a bit. So we had them all in, and everyone remembers the first lockdown. It was good fun. It was, was it March or something
beers
like that?
And board
it
games
was beers. It was wicked. Like, we live by the beach, so we're going to the beach. I've never seen so many people on the beach as that second day, I think, of lockdown.
Yeah.
But then reality sets in, and I thought, okay, I'm a provider. Where's the safety net here? Like, I've had a lot of fun, so it's time to either go and get a job or take this seriously and actually go for it and commit to it. Yeah. Oh, well, so I suppose that's a big why as well, is my family. That's probably why I've taken it seriously. Prior to that, it was just wanting to improve on my handicap.
Been there, done that, mate. My golf clubs barely fit in my new cars, so I won't be playing as much.
That's the way around, right? Just get a car you can't fit your golf clubs in.
Yeah, my experience is business does nothing for my handicap.
I've seen you at Mini Putt, Robin. No, definitely not.
So we've touched on this already, but I actually want to go a little bit deeper into this because the one thing that I've really enjoyed from the get-go working with you is you've always been very clear of what you want to do, or what you want to achieve. So when I'm coaching, we always start with the end in mind and then work it backwards, right?
Yeah.
So what does success mean to you? Firstly, what is your definition of success, and then how does that apply to what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it's so broad. I think in its essence, success is achieving something. So an attainment of a goal, or whatever you're aiming for is getting it. But I think true success is moving those goalposts. You think about the things that you've done in your life, and you would have been very happy at some point when you were 20. You were happy. At this age, you were happy, but it's continually moving that forward and forward and forward and forward. So I'd probably say my answer is, what does success look like? I don't know. I'm still aiming for it, but that's because I keep pushing it further and further and further and further.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you're 100% right. Our identities grow as we move along, as we open ourselves up to learning and personal growth and development. And so the goals and the dreams move along with that. what I do find though is that there's always some fundamental driver, one thing that drives, and you probably touched on that. As far as winning is concerned, that's what you want. If you're gonna, and I like to say this, if you're gonna enter a race, you're gonna go, compete at the Olympics. You're gonna compete to win.
Yeah.
You're not going, hey, cool, I made the Olympics. I'm just making up one of the numbers because they have to have 8 runners in that race.
Yeah.
You're going there because you want to win, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, certainly the winners do.
Yeah. Well, look at that guy, the Aussie guy in the Winter Olympics when the first 4 people took themselves out, the speed skating, and then he won the gold medal. You got to turn up. You got to, how many hours did he put into train? He just right place, right time. Anything can happen, but I'm sure he was there to win, and he ended up winning it. He's a legend now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the downside of that, but
because it wasn't a oil slick in front of him. I mean, ultimately, what you're saying is dead right, though. Like, I have a number of hyper successful friends, and none of them are satisfied. I'm not satisfied. But also 10 years ago, I never thought I'd own the properties that I own, the cars that I own, have the freedom to do what I want, the ability to eat out whenever I chose to, which currently I'm in that position that, if I go, hey, I don't want to go to work tomorrow, I don't have to. I don't have to worry about paying rent or any of that stuff.
Yep.
But where I look at today, I'm like, fuck, I'm just getting started. Like, I've got so much more to do. I'm a loser. Especially when I see, when I'm around my big circle of influence, I'm like, oh God, Jason, what are you doing with your life?
Yep.
So there's always that next push of, okay, what's next? Here we go again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that I suppose that is what success is, right? Is it just always pushing, like always wanting to be better. Constantly
dissatisfied.
No, wasn't that saying be happy but never satisfied?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I think that sums it up pretty well. Yeah, I enjoy every single day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh cool, Monday's here, sweet.
Yeah.
It's Monday, we're recording a podcast. What a great way to start your week.
Yeah.
Who else is doing this? I can't complain about this, but there's still so much to be done.
Yeah, so just want to come back again to your business. So your business is 5 years old. You've got
14
staff. But your business is growing, which is interesting.
Yep.
I say it's interesting because I've been working with you, so I know that your staff haven't grown that much in the last year or last 2 years even, but your numbers have grown in the business.
Yep.
So, like, what do you put that down to?
A relentless desire to improve and to perfect, and just there's always something that's going to be better. Especially with technology these days, the way that you were doing it might no longer be applicable or be the best way. So let's just always be looking to improve. I've let go of 3 people this year, and that's just part of the business. They didn't fit in. They weren't heading in the same direction as we were. Gave them ample opportunity to get there. They just couldn't do it. So. Yeah, we could potentially be at like 16 at the moment, but obviously with how things are at the moment, it's okay, cool. Let's just lean up a little bit, really work on the team to get them to a place where we can jump up to the next level, so we can keep growing.
So it's a quality versus quantity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think obviously there are some massive companies that are just going to have quantity over quality. If you look at like a Pack and Save, they've kind of got to just take what they can get in some areas. But for us, small family-run business dealing with clients, there is a bar there. There is a
Yeah, no, you're better to have 40 staff and a 10% GP or 20 staff and a 20% GP.
Yeah,
you're going to end up in the same place with less headaches.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah, and you haven't said it as much, but I think what you're alluding to there is the importance of culture, and how that impacts the business, like how that impacts how you run the business, and the decisions you make. A lot of that is about how people fit in, and how they live the values, the vision, the mission of our business. And so, how clear are you about your mission, vision, and values?
So I think where you're trying to steer me towards is we have a culture document. We have a culture document that was created by the team. It's constantly modified by the team, and everyone lives and dies by it. And it is a very much a fit in or fuck off sort of like mentality. It's all there for everyone to read, buy into, and it's listed. It has the job descriptions. So we have our administration, we have our managers, we have our technicians, we have our apprentices, and they all have their own little KPIs. Like one of the ones for an apprentice is, if you take someone out of someone's van, make sure it goes back in. Or if you use something out of someone's van, make sure that they know about it. And it's all those small little things there that add to that culture, because one, it shows the apprentice, hey, this is what is required of you. And two, if you don't do that, then we're going to call you up on it.
Yeah.
And not in a negative way, but this is what a high performance team needs. Like if you want to be like the All Blacks, or an even better example is the 2003 Rugby World Cup winning English side.
Don't recall it.
It was quite a while ago. No, but they had something called teacups, which
was that one time, Jason?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, Ireland. But it's getting granular down to, okay, at this moment, what do we need to do to be hyper successful? And so, culture is very much a part of that. So we have the culture document. We live and breathe by it, and that's what you need to grow your sales, grow your team, and keep on that upward trajectory. Because there's always things that are happening. That you're always going to find the mountains and obstacles. Might have to do a few U-turns completely. But that once you've got that culture, you're pointing the walker in the direction you want to go. That's kind of what sets you off. That's how you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and when you got the right culture, people govern themselves, or they govern each other without you having to do that. Yeah,
for sure.
It sounds, the way that you're describing rules and everything else, it sounds a little bit corporatized, but I know that's definitely not the culture that you have in your
there's
business.
a lot of swearing in that document.
That's fine. But I know you do a lot of fun activities. In fact, I know you invest in your team a lot, which is probably why, because Hiko, Chris and Hiko is an out-of-the-box electrical business. It's an out-of-the-box trades business. And you do some stuff that you just would never expect a bunch of tradies to do.
Yeah, so, we do Broga. But I feel like a lot of people have caught up on that. But we actually did we do some other cool things as well. Like we did a positive pathways with Gail, which is the assertiveness training. Which is you win, I win. So we did 2 days on that, and that's amazing, because that's skills that will help you at work, but they're actually going to be applicable to the rest of your life. And it just means those little points between colleagues where something could happen or fester or become a volcano, it's just dealt with, and everyone has the skills to do it. Because people want to get along, people want to work harmoniously, they want to win, but they just might not know how to approach it. And so you might have someone that's big and angry, and you might have someone that's timid and what do I do? But give them the tools so they can communicate, both get on the same page, both have the win-win. And guess what? They're going to be winning. Therefore, Hiko's going to be winning. And it goes to the customer as well. Like everyone involved in that interaction is winning.
Yeah, and they take it home. Like how many work-related issues or people blowing up at work is because they've carried something from their relationship into work. Had a big fight with the wife this morning. I'm going to walk in and everyone else is going to get it because I can't beat her, so I'll beat someone else in the workplace. So. Yeah,
and so we just did our reviews recently, and I had one of the young apprentices say to me, he was like, I just want you to know that I get up every morning and I'm excited to come to work. Like, it's so nice to know that work can be fun and nice, because the place that he came from, he was like, I used to hate it. So, and that's incredible. If he can say that,
you feel like you're on the right path.
Oh, we're definitely on the right path.
Right.
Because they go 180, 200% for everyone around them, and for the team.
And I'm just going to divert a little bit on this, because this wasn't something that we discussed, we were going to talk about today, but I know, for example, when there was a massive skills shortage, it's changing a little bit now, but not so long ago, there was a massive skills shortage. But when Hiko put out an ad saying that we're looking for an electrician, you didn't struggle to find people. You didn't struggle to get applications for a position, right?
No.
And I think part of the reason is because you've created that culture where people love coming to work, and that spreads really quickly. So you build, it's like a marketing campaign that you're investing into, so that when you do look for somebody, that you're getting the best people you attract, and winning does that.
Yeah.
Winning actually creates this attraction for winners.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the team do talk to me, and I talk to them about is, hey, do you know any rock stars? Or do you know any really good operators that we should be talking to or thinking about? So it's always on their radar, but then they also get talked to when they're at the wholesalers by other apprentices or other electricians. They get taps on the shoulder. Oh, are you guys looking for anyone at the moment? Are you guys looking for anyone at the moment?
Yeah, nice.
Libby, our office manager, her partner's a tradie. He's a plumber. So is he a tradie? But whatever.
Questionable.
Big rivalries.
But he works for a really big business, a really successful business in town. And she talks about the things that we do. And he's like, man, Hiko is shit. If I was an electrician, I'd be there.
Yeah. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, and you know what it's like. That goes round coffee tables. That goes round bars. That goes around the wholesalers.
Yeah.
It spreads.
It's like thinking of Google. It's like, I'm going to go work at Google because I've got slides inside the office and they buy me lunch every day.
Yeah.
So, that sort of culture on a scaled down version.
Yeah.
In Pevmar.
Yeah.
You'll get
Pomimoa.
Okay. So let's talk about leadership, because you don't get a great culture unless you have really great leadership.
Yeah.
And you're such a natural leader. What is leadership? And that's by my definition. But I mean, what does leadership mean to you, Chris?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to answer, again, because it's so broad. I think I'm actually going to go into it. I did write this one down. I thought this probably isn't going to be good, but Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks in that movie, I think he defines leadership throughout that whole movie. You start off, they're on the boats. They're about to hit this beach. Now, you can be the leader who's safe back in London or HQ or whatever, and he's like, yeah, this is what we're going to do today. Or you can be the leader that's in the boat with them, like pulling them along. And
the lead by example.
Yeah, lead by example. And also, it's a phenomenal movie. But when they're on the beach, it's just absolute chaos. And he just brings all of his team together. He's like, oh, get over here, get over here. So again, just organising the world, pointing the walker, just get everyone back. Okay, cool. Get them to this point. That's your goal. We're going to get to here, which is the bank. Okay, what's next? Okay, this is what we do. Okay, what's next? And then another really good point that from that movie was when they captured the German guy, and they were like going to shoot him. All of his team were like going crazy, like, yeah, we're going to do this, do that, da-da-da. And he's just realizes in that moment, he's like, we can't kill this guy. Like, he's a prisoner now. And he does this little speech to the team, and they let them go. And it turns around in the end that it was a bad idea because he shoots him. But even in that moment, that moment of leadership with that team, he just pulls them all together, unifies them, and ultimately they got Private Ryan out of that situation, which I suppose was the goal. Unfortunately, Tom Hanks dies, but yeah.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
I was going to say, if we see Netflix trending number one, Saving Private Ryan, that's a lot of people have listened to this podcast. There's so many ways that you can be a good leader. It's really about your team. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that comes to mind for me, and this really resonated when I first heard this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that caring, that, helping your team grow, guiding your team. I mean, those are all. It's all about the people.
Yeah.
And so for me, leadership is about the people, and then management is about the task. Right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So,
and we used to have that in hospo as well. What stops someone from working at this pub or the pub down the road, or again for a client, what stops them from going to the pub down the road where a pint's $1 cheaper, etc., etc. It's about the people and the environment you create. And so, as a great leader, that's how you can truly affect outcomes, is by investing in your people and making sure that those people that are facing the clients or working the late hours, people aren't calling sick all the time, they're turning up, they're giving 100%, that's leadership.
Yep. And I think even in the movie Private Ryan, successful leadership, when you know you've achieved good leadership, is when your team do what they do not because they have to, but because they don't want to disappoint you.
Yeah, I don't think I like the disappoint bit. I think it's because they want to. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, I've never just thought about it.
They don't want to let you down.
Yeah. But even like let themselves down. If you can install it in them that that's their requirement of themselves, is that level that you've set for them, even if they're unsure if they can get there, then they'll be disappointed in themselves. Yeah.
Okay.
Setting our own goals or KPIs to work towards, and this is how we win collectively. That's your job.
Yeah. And explaining it to them as well. That's why it's so important as well. Is it actually explaining to them, okay, apprenticeship is a great example. They're on the first rung of the ladder. What does it matter what I do? Yeah. Well, it matters what you do, because X, Y, Z, and this is the outcome that we then get. And as you move forward up those rungs, this is what you're going to be required to do and expected to do. And so setting that out for them, and they go, oh, okay, cool, I get it. I'll pick up that broom. I'll sweep enthusiastically. Yeah.
And I think when you achieve that, right, you've got a team that are self-disciplined, self-managing, and self-motivated. And so the need to micromanage your team is now no longer a requirement, which frees you up, right?
Oh, and in today's world, can you micromanage people? Is that what you want? Is that not
what you want to be doing?
Yeah, it's surely that's limiting people.
Yeah, you got the wrong team if you're having to, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
or the wrong mindset, because a lot of people it's the old self-employed versus business owner. Oh no, that person's not going to do the job properly. They never do it as good as me.
Yeah.
That's where the micromanager comes through into the management, I think, is they're still not doing it. Yeah, hey, look, they might only do it 80% as good as you, but it means that you can go and do that over there. So you get a few people doing 80% as good as you and carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a multiplier, right? It's give people the opportunity to step up. And, hey, sometimes they're going to fail. Things go wrong. Pete fell through a roof last week. It does happen. He's an experienced tradie,
What did he land on?
The rafter.
Okay.
And his non-productive things now anyway, because he got the snip, so it's fine.
It'll still hurt.
We're back onto the body part. Right. Chris, throughout all the conversations we've had, we've actually touched on this, but I'm actually going to ask the question, right? What do you feel is the right mindset for successful business?
Positive. Be positive. Because that then sparks action. If you're positive about the action that you are required to or need to take, you're going to do it. If you're negative, or if you give yourself that little out, you're going to take it. So it's positive action all the time. And like I said, positivity leads to tenacity, and those two are hand in hand in business. Like, you've just got to be ruthless. You've got to be dogged in that pursuit of, this is where we're going to get to. and also just believing in it. You know, that's something that Robin's helped me with a lot, is compartmentalizing, breaking everything down to, okay, cool, what's the grand end goal here, but how do we get it? And let's just focus on these little bits to get to that part. So I would say positivity is, for me, that's the starting point.
Yeah.
And that's great leadership as well, because you can be negative, you can shout at people and chew them out, or you can sit there and go, right, how do I best get these guys through this scenario, or what's the best learning that we can take from this? Like Jocko Willink says it really well. You know, when things go bad, good. What do we learn from this?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the system? Let's improve the system.
Because the wins are easy, right?
Yep.
Like a win's a win. So like, that felt nice. That was easy.
Yep.
But a loss hurts.
Yep.
But what can you take from that loss so that you don't have that loss next time?
Yeah. And I think in business, a lot of people fall short from losses. They avoid losses.
Well, everyone's chasing dopamine. All they want is those little wins constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I don't want to face anything hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell my wife she's put on a bit of weight, or she probably doesn't want to tell me the same.
This is a different podcast, mate.
Well, she has, and my wife's scrawny, but it's a conversation you don't want to be having. Same with your staff. Oh well, he hasn't quite been doing it, but oh well, maybe you'll pick it up next week. Or actually, no, it just got 5% worse next week because you didn't approach it. Now you got a cancer in your business, bringing the other guys down around you.
Yeah,
like, take it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so people go a step further than that, is they don't even hire people, or they go, oh, why do I want an apprentice? They're useless.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Well, how are you going to be successful, or how are you going to beat me if I've got 3 apprentices? Like we're going to do things better than you. I'm going to train these guys up so then they can do it cheaper than you. And guess what? I have time to go and find other business. And on the weekend, I'm not doing invoicing. I'm being present with my family, which is another massive marker of success for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Rather than working 80 hours.
Yeah, rather than working 80 hours.
8 hour
I know a guy that's just gone back. He had 4 or 5, and it's just him now. And the funny thing is, I'm like, is it easier? He's like, oh, it's way easier. But I say, okay, well, when are you doing your office work? He's like, oh, bro. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. I'm like, you'll get someone.
What office work?
Or a VA. You can do other things with that. You can outsource it. They don't have to be necessarily payroll.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to the self-employed mindset versus the business owner, right? Leaders create leaders, one of my favorite sayings. And clearly you're creating leaders within your own business so they can operate without you.
Hopefully. That's the plan.
I think you're well on your way there. Yeah, I think one of the traits, there are two traits that I found really important as a leader. One was to always be optimistic. And I think it ties in with being positive. But imagine like Private Ryan, they're all sitting in that boat, they're about to hit the beach, and Tom Hanks turns around and goes, guys, we're fucked. They've got guns on the hill.
Yeah.
We've got like...
Have you seen how far we got to run?
500 meters of not just of run, but run through soft sand. We are screwed. Yeah. And everyone's going, all right, let's go.
Woo!
And the other thing is to be consistent.
Yeah.
I think, one of the things that kills respect and leadership very quickly is if you behave one way one day and then a different way the next day, and people don't know who's turning up today. I think consistency is really underrated when it comes to leadership and business, and you're very consistent. You treat all your guys, team, guys and girls, you treat them all the same. They know what you're expecting, and when they're not meeting that expectation, they know that they're going to be sitting down with you and having a chat, right? And it's the same for everyone. There's no favoritism. That doesn't matter if you're an electrician, an apprentice, or somebody doing admin. Everybody gets treated the same. And that is such a critical part of leadership. Is that something that you consciously think about, or is that just something that comes naturally to you?
I think that's probably more natural. Just treat everyone the same. Don't be a dick. and also just try and connect with people. Like Jordan Peterson says this, you know, like treat everyone like they've got something important to say. And I think that's a great skill of mine is I'm a great listener. And honestly, the things that people tell me, I'm quite blown away sometimes. Like, wow, this okay, how do we end up here? Yeah. My mum was a counsellor, so I suppose I got that from her. Yeah. You know, we'd often have, like, in our teenage years, just these massive silences where I'd be like, I'm not going to talk. And she'd just sit there. I'd be like, well, I can do this as well.
They always say in negotiation, the first one to speak loses.
Yeah. So I think there's that definitely comes naturally. But also trying to implement that from a business sense and to the young leaders that I'm training. I can see the friction points within them, because some things I take for granted, whereas and some of the guys that I'm training are like, what is this? But they're all very receptive to it. Yep. Again, it's setting out that, okay, this is the outcome we want. These are the ways that we have to get there. And I was talking with you, Robin, about this. You know, what training do you need to get to that point? Or how can we help you get to that point? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So, I mean, this has been awesome. It's been really great catching up, and it's been really great hearing about your journey, how you got here. The last thing, from me anyway, the last thing is just some of the performance, just so we know that, you know, what success looks like. So I know, for example, in your numbers, you 2 years ago you more than doubled your business, and then last year you doubled your business again. So we're talking about significant success. What other success, or what other measures would you say, you know, you look at to measure the success in your business?
Just bank balance.
Yeah.
Just how many R8s I've got.
I know a guy's got 3.
Oh yeah, I love R8. It's actually 4 years of double. Thank you, Robin. You should know that as my coach. What other numbers do I look at success?
I mean, you've got fantastic staff retention. You don't have guys and girls hopping in and out all the time. You've got a great team. You've moved into new premises, bigger. That facilitates growth, which is now starting to look too small again.
Yep. It's all right. We'll wait till March.
So, I mean, I guess from my side, the point is that, you know, you're in business, but despite all the negativity that you read in the media, you know, the elections, the recessions, fuel prices, all these things that seems to bring other people down and make them fearful, you still managing to grow your business.
I think that comes with a well laid out plan as well, and a strategy, and that's working with yourself has made that a lot easier, because you've just got to focus on all these smaller numbers rather than the big massive numbers. You just go, okay, cool, this is where we got to, this is what we should be doing at the moment. Oh, yep, we're doing that. You know, what else do you need to look at? So it is part of that initial planning that you set out. And I know that's something that we're still working on. It's trying to tame the beast.
But I think one of the fundamentals that we, from the get-go, a principle of coaching that we implemented from when we started working together is that which is measured improves.
Yeah, for sure.
And so knowing your numbers is halfway to making those numbers better, right?
Oh, well, it's yeah, and sorry, I didn't pick up on that, but it's so underrated, knowing your numbers. Even that there's numbers now that if you ask me, I go, I don't know what that is, and that's not good enough. But the business is still in a place where it's, you know, I'm still morphing, so I'm focusing on what I need to focus on. It goes back to personal training. Like, you need to know your numbers. If you want to lose weight, weigh yourself every day. And with business, you've got to have those numbers to identify early if it's going well, if it's going wrong, and also how to measure yourself. Because the great one at the moment is you talk about leads, like how busy are you, how many leads are you getting in, and I'm starting to see it from the other side of people just go, I'm really busy. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What's your numbers?
Compared to what?
What's your numbers? And I've just been 2 days at a conference, and again, I'm asking people, okay, well, what are your numbers? Oh, it's about this. So you don't know. So how you know? And you don't know.
Sure.
And if you don't know, you don't know. So how have we grown? Is by knowing our numbers, setting numbers, and knowing our numbers, and so I can comprehensively say, yeah, we're growing and we're heading in the right direction.
And you've also invested in systems that can report those numbers to you.
Yep.
You know, which is investment into that is also really key. Chris, we can wrap up, but before we do, is there anything you want to tell the listeners and the viewers, a message you want to give to either somebody who's in business or somebody who's thinking about going into business?
Yeah. This is one of the questions that wasn't really touched upon, but surround yourself by good people, be inspired by good people, and you have to trust good people. Like working with yourself, Robin, as my business coach, has really elevated my game. The people that I employ have really helped me elevate my game. So it's trust people. Like you said, I can do something in 6 hours, or I can pay someone to do it in 8 hours. Oh, I'm losing money on it. No, like trust in that person. They're still going to deliver the outcome that's required. Yeah. So you just have to surround yourself by good people and be humble. There is someone that's going to be better than you at something. You might be better than them in another area. Yeah. And that's okay.
Bigger fish in every pond.
Yeah.
While we're on that, because Robin probably won't ask it, obviously you've worked with Robin for quite some time now. Like, what do you feel has been the real value to anyone else who's like on the fence about getting a coach in their business? I say this all the time, and this is part of the reason we run this podcast, is I don't believe that people are sitting there one day having a hard day and they go, oh, business coach Google. Like, people don't know we're out there and we want to help them. So how do they find us? And that's part of this podcast. Like, we want to give value, but we also want people to see that there's value and maybe pick up the phone one day. Yeah. So anyone who's on the fence about getting a coach, like, what would you say to them?
I would say to most people, I'd say, okay, how do you lose weight? Or the best shape that you've been in your life, how did that come about?
Accountability. First thing you do when you go into the gym, right? First thing you do. Do you know how to use the machines? No, we'll set you down with a personal trainer. Yep. What am I going to do? I'm going to start a business. She'll be right.
She'll be right. ANZ gave me the loan. Yeah. No, but and so that's what I go back to people with, is because then that's generally on a relative term. Everyone can understand that. Like, everyone struggles with their self-image. Okay, cool. Well, if you want big biceps, how do you get big biceps? Or if you want to lose weight, how do you lose weight? And I think the biggest thing for me is I have to turn up every week. We've got a plan, and have I executed that plan? So I go in and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. It's 2 hours before our meeting. I'll quickly punch these out. Sorry. But then it is done. So that's still that growth there. So we are still getting towards that target. So it's for me, it's accountability, and meaning that I have to show up. I have to be on it. I can't go in there half cocked, like, oh, hey, Robin. He'll just be like, what are you? He'll be like, nope, I know what you're trying to hide from. And it's making you stand in front of the mirror as well. Yeah. So that's aside from all of the other stuff that we do, I think that's the big thing for me, is accountability, showing up every week. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we've heard from Chris. We've heard about how he likes to take actions, and now it's time for you to get out there and take some action.
There it is.